Howdy, my name is Jacob Wallace, and I will be presenting to you my final program activity. So the program that I chose to do is a camp called Fine Arts Day Camp. I chose it because it's modeled after a camp that I went to when I was a youth. So the basics for Fine Arts Day Camp is that it is a camp focused on the fine arts, something that society has kind of started to put to the wayward side, something we want to give youth the opportunity to explore. So each year the camp will cycle through 3 particular fine arts. This is going to be ages 10 to 13. It's held at Bentry Bible Church because they have access to a gymnasium, to a theater room, to an arts and crafts supply room, and to a kitchen, to different venues we can use for our different programs. But this specific year of the fine arts is going to focus on dance, it's going to focus on theater, and it's going to focus on those physical art attributes. So our camp is a 5-day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. program, and you'll see on the schedule that there's going to be broken into 3 groups. So we have 30 kids, we'll break them into groups of 10, and then we'll cycle them through different programs throughout the day. So what we're going to have is we'll have session 1, we're going to have a painting, theater, and dance class happening all at the same time. Each group has been assigned a specific session. So they'll start in the morning, they'll get to know their group, they'll go and travel with their group for the rest of the day. So session 1, they'll do 1 of 3 activities. Then they'll transition to session 2, which will be one of those 3 activities as well. We'll transition them into a lunch. Then they'll go to session 3, which they'll do the 3rd and final activity for those different themes, dance, theater, and physical arts. We'll have a snack time, we'll transition into our guest speaker, and then finally we'll meet back in the main area and they'll be picked up. So I have a very large amount of youth activities. We've got 15 in total, 5 dance, 5 art, and 5 theater. A little short overview I have on my slides here is going to lay out for you that for the art, for the dance, and for the theater, they will have done 30 minutes of a lesson in those specific topics and then 30 minutes of activity. And if you look on the PowerPoint presentation, you'll see that the topic that was introduced is corresponding to the activity they do. So cubism and collaging, sculpting and paper mache, Renaissance and oil painting, pop art and watercolors, expressionism and mixed media. So of the 15 programs, each program game and activity, which will be in more detail in the actual paper, is corresponding to the lesson that they just learned about. So they'll learn 30 minutes about a corresponding subject, and then they will spend 30 minutes displaying that activity in their session. Next, we'll come to our logic model. So for our inputs, we have staff. We have a bunch of different levels of staff. We'll go over those later. For our expense, it's only going to be the expense of the materials. This is a volunteer-based program, and the facility space is given to us as a courtesy because it's a volunteer-based program. For the materials, if you read through every single activity, it's a lot of art-based materials. For your theater games, you're only going to need 4 chairs. For your dance and music games, you're going to need cardboard cutouts of emojis and some type of Bluetooth speaker. For the art, you're going to need glue and watercolors and paint, and a large variety of different arts that are mentioned here. For the activities, so there's a 2-day training for the staff, and then the activities are designed to teach kids not only how to use these art skills, but to appreciate them as well. And for participation, the campers will be encouraged to participate in every activity. Our short-term outcome goals are that they get more exposed to these types of art and maybe have a greater appreciation for them. Our medium-level impact goals, we're hoping that these activities promote creative problem solving and attention to detail. That's something the finer arts are very good at promoting, is those 2 topics. And then our long-term goals are our hopes that these lessons they learn through these activities can be part of their daily lives from here on out. That the problem-solving skills they learned, to think outside the box, the creativity they had to utilize in their program stays with them for the long run. Our assumptions is that our staff will be there and be fully filled, that they'll have the required knowledge to facilitate these activities. Our external factors could be a shortage of staff, lack of funding, lack of materials, or the cancellation of our guest speakers. Next, we're going to have our recognition model. So for this, our participation is going to be mostly mandatory, but for a few of our activities, we're going to make it optional. We do understand that some of the youth may not be as comfortable with public speaking, and 3 of our theater activities do require a lot of confidence. And we want our kids to step out of the box, but we don't want them to be forced out of their comfort zone. So for those 3 activities out of the 15, they will have the option to sit out. For our personal progress goals, how we're going to measure those is on the morning of each camp, we've designated 20 minutes to sit and talk with your group. Each day, we're going to plan out a goal for ourselves. And at the end of the day, we have 20 minutes that we can reflect before our parents pick up. In what ways did I meet this goal? And in what ways can I continue to meet this goal tomorrow? For our standards of excellence, since art is a relatively subjective topic, we're going to measure the standard of excellence for our art against ourselves. We're not going to compare ourselves to our peers. We're not going to look at what other people are doing and be down on ourselves because their art may look better. We're going to be judging ourselves on how much effort did I put in and did I really try in this activity. For everything else, it's the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. For peer competition, we do have a few parts of the program that promote friendly competition, but they're not reward focused. They're more focused on learning the art. So it'll help the youth be more engaged, but it's not going to create this dynamic of better or less than. And for our cooperation, a few of our activities do have a team building component. For our staffing, which it's all laid out in more depth in the program itself, we're going to have 6 categories of staff. We're going to have our camp director. They're in charge of making sure that everything behind the scenes runs, and they're in charge of hiring everyone down the line. The camp director will report to the board of directors for Bentry Bible Church. Underneath the director, we have our team leads for the other 5 departments. We're going to start with our dance department. So the dance department has the one dance team lead, who is then responsible with the camp director of hiring the 2 dance team members. They will stay only in the dance facility, and they will run all of the dance activities. Very similarly, we have one art team lead, who with the camp director will hire our art team members. 2 of those, they will lead all of the art activities. Same for theater, 1 theater lead, 2 theater members, stay in the theater room, run the theater activities. Lunch and snack will be behind the scenes. They will do all of our lunch and snack prep work. Lunch will be catered in. Snack will be something that they make themselves. We've got 1 lunch and snack team lead and 2 lunch and snack team members. And then lastly, for our 3 groups that we have, we're going to have 3 adult counselors and 3 junior counselors. For our standard operating procedures for culture of protection, we're going to make sure that our staff has gotten their backgrounds checked, that all of our campers, anyone who works at the camp, and the parents have signed waivers for the camp. That's going to keep us safe, and that's going to keep the youth safe as well. For selecting our personnel, we're going to be pretty picky with who we select. As this is a volunteer-based system, the requirements for filling the positions are not going to be as strict, not going to be things like master's degrees, and in some cases not even a college degree for our younger serving members. But we are going to conduct personal interviews. They are going to need a letter of recommendation, and we will have them take an on-site personality test. For orientation and training, day 1 of orientation, it's going to be a 2-day orientation. Day 1 is going to be all the procedures, Title IX training, how to handle risk management and crisis. And day 2, they'll break off into their specialities, dance, theater, lunch, snack, normal counselors, and they'll learn from those. For program management, we have a layout of all the program rules, a program binder that the camp director will have, outlining what to do if any scenario happens. Same for crisis management. There'll be a crisis management folder, and that will be referenced. Everyone will be made familiar with it in training, but that will be referenced in the case of a crisis. For reporting, we'll have all of our people trained in Title IX, local law enforcement, child protection. They will know who to call when something goes wrong. The last thing that we have is marketing. In the bottom corner, you can see there the marketing infographic we have made for our camp. And this right here on the page is just going to be the whole splurb of getting people to want to join our camp. Fine Arts Day Camp is a camp made for those who want to explore all of the finer arts. The reason that it cycles every 3 programs every year is to keep kids coming back. If you want to learn theater, dance, and art this year, those aren't going to be what's offered next year, and you have the chance to learn even more about the finer arts. There's so much focus on sports and outdoors and other related camps, which I know I personally enjoyed as a youth as well, but having access to those finer art camps, especially when society seems to be going away from those, is a great opportunity for youth to learn a lot of practical and learning skills and how to problem solve and think out of the box. So we hope that Fine Arts Day Camp finds its way into your heart and that you can use it to teach your youth to be more creative.